Hey guys, JeffKyler14 here, and I'm here to share with you guys how I got to this point in my life. You know what? I'm just thinking, instead of draw my life, how about an animate my life instead? Nobody's done that before, right? Right? I'm way out of my league, huh? Whatever. It would take too long anyway. Wait, this stupid marker isn't working. Son of a pound new markers! Yay! So here we go. I was born and I was a big baby, weighing 10 pounds and 6 ounces. Which is funny because the doctors considered me a baby football player with a thick head of hair. My dad was a mechanic in a shop he owned for many years, and my mom helped out with his business. But eventually that had to end when I turned around 5 at the time. Anyway, I was a very quiet and surprisingly stupid kid. I won't go about it in specific details, but I was seeking attention and not in a proper way. I was bullied quite a lot, especially during middle school. But anyway, I really loved watching cartoons and playing video games growing up. And I was always curious about how those were made. I even taught myself to animate at an early age of probably around 12 or 13. In about 2005 or 6, I was watching The Fairly Odd Parents, specifically the special where Mr. Crocker takes over the world. It inspired me to make my own characters. And my first character was Jeff Kyler. In other words, that guy in my profile picture that looks like he's related to Popeye the Sailor Man. Anyway, I didn't have internet until around the same time frame, and I've been on it pretty much every single day. I especially love to watch YouTube. Then I discovered that people can put animations on YouTube. But they were all done in Flash, and I didn't have that at the time, only MS Paint. Then I made a decision that would change my life. I decided to create my own YouTube channel. But I never made animations at first because they were unfunny YouTube poops, which I'm glad they're gone. Anyway, eventually I did get Flash and learned through tutorials on how to use it. But yeah, I was satisfied at the time because I look back at it now and it makes me cringe. Ugh. So that had me juggling both YouTube and school. Remember when I said I was bullied in middle school? Well, it got to a point where kids were throwing rocks at me. I never told my parents about the issue because, freaking out. But I at least learned how to defend myself and eventually never got bothered again. And I even started having friends that were genuine. And at the time, it was everything I could have asked for. I even found Markiplier when he played the beta version of Slender the Arrival. And I even finally had my first girlfriend during the beginning of high school. And most of the time that never works out. When that first breakup happened, I was depressed, as expected. I was crying pretty much every day. What really sucked was that literally the next day after the breakup happened, I was in so much sorrow. I didn't pay attention to my English teacher, and she made the class stay like an extra minute after the bell rang because supposedly the class was cutting up or whatever, the typical stuff. The bell rang and I got up and walked to the door, and suddenly she started yelling at me and scolding, which ended up making the entire class laugh at me. That brought my depression down even further, and I cried the rest of next period. Since it was my first girlfriend, and we went to the same school, it was impossible to avoid. Because of that, it took me 3 years to get over. But we're still friends, though. Meanwhile, when I was making Markiplier Adventures 2, I met my second girlfriend. She wanted to help out with the game, and she did. She played as Tiny Box Tina. Which is not my character, by the way, so I give credit where credit is due. If you're watching this person that created Tiny Box Tina, you know who you are. Anyway, she was also a brony. And hear me out, please don't unsub just because of that. Listen to me. She was the reason I got into My Little Pony, but it wasn't my choice. She kinda tied me down and forced me to watch an episode. Not literally, by the way, figuratively. And I guess you figured out what happened to me from there. She also introduced me to a now dead animation channel where I met even more friends. I won't give the name, but I'll just put the initial. It was there I ended up making pony content for that channel. It wasn't exactly for the fan service, but it was experimenting with new styles and characters. I even got to go to a PonyCon in Ohio for 2 years and met my new friends and new faces there. It actually helped me open my shell a bit more to interact with people and what it's like to be in a con setting. Everything was going okay for a while, but then drama escalated from time to time, and the main leader of that turned out to be an example of a person that shouldn't even be a leader, let alone a friend. All of my friends in there were screwed over and manipulated for years. And what's even more messed up, I think I had it the worst. I was juggling my main and gaming YouTube channels and doing schoolwork, not to mention Markiplier Adventures 2 being on hiatus at the time and Vanished Animated Part 3 being canceled completely because of that. I was manipulated harshly, and I was so blind to it I never noticed it until too late. Oh yeah, I got broken up and gotten in another relationship during those times as well. And now this year, went through a horrible breakup, only this time I was cheated on. Oh yeah. But here I am now, in the making of Markiplier Adventures 3, with an amazing talented team I'm glad to call as friends, and in the making of more great stuff to come. And you might be thinking to yourself, wow, you must have had a rough life. How did you pull through? Well, I always been taught to keep moving forward and never give up. I'm not gonna lie, there were some points in time I wanted to kill myself. And being raised in a religious household, I knew I shouldn't do that. And I had pure willpower to start and finish something and not hold back on what I believed in. If you're going through a hard time, just hang in there, because I believe in you. The world may be a horrible place, but we must always be sure there's light. And if there isn't, be that light. I'm rambling on now, but I'm done here. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for being part of the light in my life that I'll never take for granted. This is all I can do for now. This is JeffKyler14, and I'm out. Bye-bye.